Hey everybody, it's Irate Prostate here, and welcome to another exciting episode of Hot Takes on Netflix. I'm here with my buddy Big Fat Brian.
What up, fam?
What's up, brother? How you doing this week, man? You having a good week and shit?
I'm having a great week, actually. It's been rather busy at work and rather busy at the Netflix showings for sure.
No,
So
yeah, it has been busy too. Yeah, they've been. We're going to get to the stuff that we're going to be talking about later on this year. I mean, later on this next couple of weeks. So, but so last week we said we told everybody that we would look at the live action version of Full Metal Alchemist, which is a favorite among a lot of the weeaboos, people that are into Japanese and anime in particular. And so the anime series is highly recommended by a lot of the people that I know that are really into
yeah.
this, right?
Mm-hmm. Senpai.
Indeed, I don't know all the lingo and shit. I'm not tight on all of it. I know what a weeaboo is. I think a senpai is like a teacher
I have
or,
no idea.
or
I've just
some
heard
shit.
it. I've heard it around, but yeah, that's
And sensei is a teacher, and I think a senpai is like a I don't know. Um, I'm sure somebody out there will tell us.
right.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
retards, it's this.
I know, I know, and I was trying to find the thing for anyway. So all right, so we're gonna start. I'm gonna go ahead and start rolling the slideshow here with the lovely soundtrack. Everybody, let me know if the music's too loud, but everything should be good and slick. So we open up. All right, you got anything you want to say before we get rolling on the storyline here?
Um, Anything I want to say? Well, okay, so I should explain like my point of view at going at this movie, and that is that I have not actually seen the anime itself.
Neither have I.
So I came at this movie with sort of like, a pretty open mind. I didn't even know what it was about or anything like that. And that's sort of where I'm coming from. But we can get into the story before we get into like different scenes and stuff.
All right. Well, yeah, I wanted to say, basically, I'm coming in from the same perspective, and really, to be honest, I haven't really been big into the into anime as as a form of entertainment. So a lot of the movies that I've seen, like I've seen all the Death Note films. And I even kind of like the third one, to be honest. So I thought they all stood up on their own merit, and I really liked the Attack on Titan live action films. I thought those were fun. Attack on Titan should have been just one movie, but they decided we're going to suck as much cash out of this motherfucker as we can, so they split it up and added a little fat into it. Kind of did the Jackson approach, and like what he did with the with the Hobbit and with the Lord of the Rings and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
instead of making one big awesome killer movie, it's like, let's split it up and milk this motherfucker. It's a cash cow, the best kind of cow that there is out there.
True, but I would say that some stories actually need the longer development. That way you fully are invested in characters and stuff like that as well. For instance, like the Lord of the Ring, I actually, other than the last hour of number 3,
Right.
then I do think it was good that it was in 3 movies.
Okay. All right, so let's look at this one. This is Full Metal Alchemist. You want to talk a little bit about the storyline? Open it up. Give us a picture of what we're looking at. Two brothers.
Yep. Okay. So, from what I understand, it's 2 brothers at a farmhouse, and they're doing alchemy up in their bedroom or basement. I don't know where they were, but it doesn't matter. and they go to show their mom their special alchemy animal thing they've made, and their mom dies of an aneurysm. Right?
Right.
That's
and then they try to bring the mom back to life, is what I've gathered. So, and then when they did that, it created this thing, and it ended up like ripping off one of the brothers' like arm and a leg, and the other brother just was left with nothing but a spirit form, I guess. Right?
yeah.
that we see later pop up into, it looks like a really kind of a cool robot-y thing, but it turns out it's just an empty suit of armor that looks like it was designed. It looks like a spacesuit too.
A little bit, yeah. Like an over-exaggerated form of really like garish nobleman armor.
Right, and if it had been a little portly. You know,
like super obese or something.
exactly, exactly. So, all right. So we open up the movie with the one that's in his body form, running through. He's chasing this dude down, and he wants what's actually the stone on the guy's ring, because he's in quest of this thing called the Philosopher's Stone. And if people aren't aware, the Philosopher's Stone is this thing that's been been storied about. I mean, since medieval times. It's supposedly the missing link into the being able to create gold out of just regular materials, the combination. And really what the Philosopher's Stone is the sun, If you really wanted to create all the, gold out of all these materials, you would need a solar type, power source. So, but I'm sorry, I get a little, me, I got ADD and bad and shit. Go ahead.
Well, so also I thought that wasn't like there's a myth about the Philosopher's Stone being used to turn specifically lead into gold, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. And that's what essentially old-fashioned alchemists were trying to achieve.
Yeah. That's the whole point of the alchemy. That most alchemists' sole quest was to try to create gold out of primarily lead, but they use other things that they found. There was they were just goofing around, man. They were probably making a lot of stuff to get high on or something.
Most likely.
Yeah, I would think. Because a lot of you wonder where they were able to make I don't know, like shit, like early forms of morphine and things like that. It had to come from somewhere. And so in the movie, let's get back to the movie, is alchemy is like the people, the peasants or whatever. And this is weird, man. There's some kind of anachronistic shit going on, where it looks like we're living in a medieval era, but we can't. We're not. The medieval era is, but then there's trucks and there's guns and stuff, and so talk about that a little bit.
Well, I mean, so it did seem a little bit odd, but I think that and I'm not sure. It had a very Final Fantasy VII feel to it. You know what I mean? Like when you play the early intro of that game, it's just, I don't know, but sort of less. I don't. The whole thing doesn't really make sense. Is the thing. That's why it's so hard to explain. There's why is this here? Oh, we're trying to portray this as being like old-fashioned and medieval. Why is this over here? I'm not sure, because this is supposed to be old-fashioned and medieval, you know?
Right.
With cars and I don't know. It just seemed very odd. Sir Adamantine says my volume is low. Also, we have Sir Adamantine, Death Harukin, and OG Phantom in the chat.
Fantastic. Well, greetings. How does that sound now?
I should probably talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so yeah, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I mean, other than, yeah, I guess it, you know, in the early 1900s, there were cars, but they were super rare. You know, and it would make sense, I guess, in the context of this movie that the military was driving them, but it doesn't, you know, it doesn't really fit too well. It doesn't look right, and maybe it's a I don't know, a cultural barrier or something, but it really seemed like none of the characters in this intro scene were really reacting all that correctly to the to what was going on, you know?
Right.
It sort of seemed like it was a everyday, oh, you know, this is just a regular occurrence. We often have weird fights and things happen like this in the city.
Right, and they expected him to clean it up with magic, and the guy and the armor brother Al. All right, so the one that's got the Jagan politicals avatars. What do you call it in the back? The braid or whatever the fuck, you know. It reminded me of It reminded me of Jagan Political's avatar. That guy, his name is Ed, and the brother that's in the suit is named Al.
Can we just call it waifu hair?
Sure, man.
That's basically what it is.
Waifu.
It's yeah, it's a terrible joke. I don't know. Yeah. So sorry, go. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Go ahead.
No, you're fine, man. As a matter of fact, I had when I'm trying to like blow my nose here real quick. I got give me a second, all right? Yeah. So keep things rolling.
So basically, after that, they move from the whole scene where they talk to the soldiers and everything, and you find out that they're trying to do their own thing with Philosopher's Stones. The government sort of is knows of them, or that they exist. I don't know, it's just a bad story. It's really bad. I couldn't really get into this too much. It seemed like the whole thing was built on angst, and it, like, questing 20 years or however old this person is supposed to be to get your brother a new body, and I don't know. This whole thing just seemed... The story is terrible. It's so mean. There's like so many meaningless little pieces in it that don't matter at all. That, you know, all these people are being used by the bad guys. For instance, the priest in the original scene that he runs away from.
Right. Oh, and then there's the endless ripoff from Sandman. The endless you had lust, gluttony, and envy.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. I don't know. I was sitting there watching this, and the first time I fell asleep. The second time, I was like,
I did too, man.
My head is gonna explode. This is literally a rip off of everything with like edgy, angsty teenagers written in around it.
I know, like right now we're looking at Envy, and Envy's like this like tranny, like whatever, you know, kind of androgynous being. And Gluttony, of course, is this obese guy that's got this really weird way that, you know, he consumes things. And then, of course, Lust is this sexy, witchy looking chick that's got like Lady Deathstrike hands. Did you catch that too? The Wolverine shit? It's like, okay.
Well, like, okay, so Gluttony at least makes sense, right? The guy just eats stuff.
Right.
But what, I mean, maybe tentacle monsters? I don't know what they were going for. Like,
what the fuck?
Is this? Why?
Man, I was like, I got all kinds of weird notes I took here. Oh, and man, and you know, the deal that was really getting to me is there was so much talk. I mean, my God, there was, you know, talking about, you know, and I mean, it's just like we're just like eating up time with dialogue. You know, the worst, you know, like we keep complaining about this stuff with the Netflix stuff. They're not, you know, they're not putting a good English, you know, audio track where you can listen to people, even if it's dubbed, it would sound, okay. You know what I'm saying? And the only one they have is for blind people.
Holy cow! Yeah, that was great. Right? That was probably the best part of the movie. Me and my girlfriend were sitting there watching it, right? And and it's just describing everything, every single thing in the movie. Sheet flaps in wind. Hi, Mom. How are you doing? Grass ruffles, and you're like, oh my God,
right?
This is terrible and great all at the same time.
Ed holds spoon to mouth and says, "Why did you do that? Why would we do this other thing? Blah blah blah." And then Ed takes a sip of the soup, and then Ed puts the spoon down, and it's like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" Okay, I'll read it. Jesus. So
I didn't. I just kept it going because that was the only thing keeping me. That was the only thing keeping me.
So you were getting amused. You were amused by it. Yeah. I can definitely see that, man. It's so fucked up. It's so crazy.
Oh man.
Definitely. You know, it's look. All right, we're gonna bust out the spoilers on this damn thing. So y'all, I think we're doing you a favor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Holy shit.
So you know. If anything else, you know, it's like you should sub to Brian for me having him put him through this because this is pretty bad. And you know what? I think maybe this may be a time to let I think Jacob's here. Is Tara? Has Tara Sin showed up? Uzi Q.
Anyway, so yeah, since we're doing spoilers, there's the whole dummy thing. You know, they have this later on in the movie. They find out that the government's hoarding these like man-made philosopher's stones. You could compare it to like what hardcore preppers think about our government. Only actually happening in their government in this movie. Yeah,
and so like, at the end, it's like you got these like fucking cycloptic zombie things that are like hanging upside down from the roof like bats for whatever reason. I'm gonna pull Jacob Nabo in. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
Go ahead and pull him in. I'll just keep going while you do. So Irate brings up a good point. They were hanging from the roof like bats, and I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is the point of this? This is just logistically retarded. Why are they? Why would you even do this? You know, maybe it's part of a spell or something. I don't know, but and just so people know what we're talking about,
Jacob, you're breathing into your microphone.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Just it's funny how y'all can mess up so many things at once.
You mean the movie?
No, the characters are not the Endless. They're called homunculi.
Well, no. I knew that. No, I was saying that they were a ripoff of the Endless.
Oh yeah, it's obvious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the homunculi, exactly. Okay.
But oh god, the whole movie it's basically The Last Airbender again.
Yes, it is actually. Only I gotta say this: The Last Airbender, the live-action movie, is better than this live-action movie.
Yes. No. My opinion is watch the TV show. Watch Brotherhood.
I agree. And just for people out there, the homunculus look like there's a video on YouTube of a goat that's born with one eye. And it's just one large eye in the center of its head. And it's got like no nose, and it's drooling and everything. It's either a goat or a pig.
Yeah.
Just look up like Cyclops animal, and you'll see it. It'll be the first thing that comes up.
Yeah.
That is what these things look like, with weird like bubbly marshmallow teeth.
the teeth were horrible, man.
Terrible.
I'm not gonna watch that.
Yeah. Oh my god. If you it was just, this is why I'm having such a hard time explaining this, because it's like, why would because clearly the graphics were actually really good. The graphics were very good.
The effects in this movie were great.
Yeah, they were top notch. I would call them AAA rating, graphics. And
but they weren't enough. There weren't,
No.
It's like, and there was too much talking. If they would have put more effects and less talking in, and even shortened the movie, even made it an hour-and-a-half movie with nothing but like effects and stuff.
Wait, did y'all watch the movie in English?
No,
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I did.
Oh, I watched it in its native language with subtitles.
Yeah, me too. I didn't watch it. I couldn't watch it in English. Where Brian did with the descriptive for blind people.
Yeah, I had a good laugh at it. It was pretty great.
But I knew the movie was bad when I predicted every scene before it happened.
Yeah. Well, you were familiar. All right, now you're coming from the perspective that you actually had seen the anime, right? Jacob?
I watched both versions, the original and Brotherhood.
Okay.
And the show is actually more graphic than the movie. Because they show the dad turning the daughter into the Chimera.
Right.
In graphic detail.
Well,
we should explain that part.
Wasn't this rated like P14 or something?
Yeah, something low.
Yeah, because I was thinking that it should have been, would have been better if it was rated R, and they really, got really graphic with the stuff, because
but then not a lot of people would watch it.
I don't know. I would. I love gross shit. So, throw the effects.
Fair,
Go for it.
To be fair, the demographic for this is like,
teenagers,
13 to 20.
Are y'all, man? Are you sure about that? Because I think the whole idea is appealing to the weeaboos, the older ones.
Weeaboos come in all shapes and
it came on Adult
sizes.
Swim.
That's true. It was on Adult Swim.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh God, lowest rating hour on Adult Swim ever.
Oh, Death Harukin. Death Harukin says, never forget what they did to Nina and Alexander.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad they didn't show it happening and just said it just happened.
Yeah. Here's a donkey with hair.
No,
this is my daughter.
No, it was a dog with hair.
That was so weird,
dog
man.
With hair.
and they kept trying to, like, it was really strange, I thought, because they were trying to emphasize that alchemy and magic are two different things, and that alchemy is science.
Magic, it's alchemy. The laws of I keep forgetting the word, but everything comes at a cost. Basically, in order what they've done, the two boys, Ed had to lose his arm and leg, and Al, his whole body was
right
taken as punishment. Because what they did was considered taboo.
Right, because matter can neither be created nor destroyed, right?
Yeah, laws of equal... I keep forgetting what that law is called.
The law of preservation.
No, it's like... Well, something must come from something.
Right. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
No, like, say I want to make a bridge. I'm going to need matter for it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, law of equivalent exchange?
Yes.
Right.
And they even use that in the anime. The
Yeah.
first episode, they even said that.
Right.
I mean, you can say that, but let's just put it... It's just magic that you have to trade for.
Yes.
It's sort of...
It's redefined.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, they should have had,
It's
like...
frugal magic.
Japanese actors.
What about the Japanese actors?
It just... The one with the blonde hair still looks wrong.
Yeah. I agree. It totally looking... See, and that's kind of like... I think a lot of these characters were written to be, like, Caucasian. And...
No, they are.
Well, see, and that's something a lot of people don't understand about a lot of anime is that a lot of the characters are written to be Caucasian, and that's that's the reason for the blonde hair. I don't think that
in the series at some point later in the anime they actually put Hitler in the show. And they do conquer Shambhala.
Well, that kind of makes sense, man, because there's a weird obsession that it's not only in the movies and the anime and in their manga, but also in the modeling and stuff. In the whole hobby sphere, there's this obsession with World War II, and especially the German aesthetic. And you'll see this like weird German shit just popping up here and there.
Oh, but I gotta warn y'all, the guy who made this stuff does not like those people.
What does that mean?
Oh, it's not just says it, those people.
What do you think he means when he says that?
The JQ.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so most of the bad guys who are not homunculi are them.
They're Jews?
Yeah,
you can say Jews. Jews is not a bad word.
Well, I don't want RE Project to get in trouble.
Well, here, just so everyone knows, I'm Jewish, so I can say that.
Well, okay, but yeah, you can tell most of the plot, like the people who are alchemists, are Jews.
Are you telling me that this is a story about magical Jews?
Basically. Because there's still people in Japan where stuff is made who still have that they don't like Jews thing.
Yeah, that is true, actually.
Just don't look up his original thing, Angel Cop. Because they say the bad guys are the Jews in New York.
Angel Cop, the anime?
Yes.
I've seen that. Isn't that available on Netflix?
I don't think it is.
No.
It's probably DVD on Netflix.
I've seen it somewhere, man. That's really familiar sounding.
Because if you watch the Japanese subtitles, they say the bad guys trying to take down Japan are the Jews.
We got Royce Jacobson. Alchemy is Kabbalah confirmed.
I mean, kind of is.
That was a good one, man. That's a good one.
They used the homunculi and the Philosopher's Stone to power.
Well, they had the Stars of David around the Ouroboros, inside the Ouroboros.
Yep.
Oh my God!
True.
Oh, this.
Oh my God! We've discovered something.
Oh
about
shit! The anti-Semitic aspect of.
Oh, this is great.
Well, for people who know the creator, it's obvious.
Dude.
This is beautiful.
This is getting weirder and weirder, man. This is like, what I'm saying?
That makes a whole lot more sense with the, those man-made philosopher stones in the homunculi and everything.
Yeah.
Them being sort of golems.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what they are. Oh my
That's
God.
golems.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
golems.
Oh, wow.
But that scene with the light bulb and those creatures falling down, that was beautiful to look at.
I'm sorry, this is hilarious to me.
It is too weird. All right, everybody. If you're interested, let's see. Let's see. Where did I thought I just put my? Hold on, everybody. Yeah, I know.
Oh, and the colonels are named after American warplanes, like Mustang.
Yeah,
Mustang. I did
Mustang.
notice that. Yeah.
Do they have a Thunderbolt in there? I can't remember.
I think it was later on in stuff they don't use in the movie.
Okay.
That also makes a lot of sense with the military uniforms.
But,
Yeah, see, none of that made sense, did it? I mean, it was like, okay, so this is like a, so this is, all right, so here we're going, all right, we're going out on a limb here. So this is going to be a, let's say, for lack of a better word, this is going to be an Israeli super soldier program that's being I'm trying to. No, that is so okay. This is making this.
It's more like a German thing because they use the words to call a person who's higher above them Führer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And well, the deal, back right at the end of the war, at the end of World War II, when Israel was formed. They used most of their stuff were German airplanes and stuff, Bf 109s, Messerschmitt 109s,
but this is set before World War II. This whole series.
Yeah, of course. No, of course.
Because the dates.
Right.
On the mother's grave.
Exactly, and that kind of like that lets you know exactly. That's the only time we know exactly where we're at temporally in this whole deal. So we get an idea of how old the kids are and stuff.
Oh man,
but it's like, oh my God! Let's see, I've got all these notes written. I'm gonna look at. So
I hope they don't make any more of this, like a sequel or another sequel.
Oh, I really hope they don't either.
I don't think that's going to be possible. I think that so it's like the parallels from 1915 to 1940 Germany.
So basically imagine, instead of the normal stuff they found, it was magic they discovered.
Right, but it's not magic, it's alchemy.
Yeah.
Right? They're not the same thing.
Wow.
No,
I mean, at this point, I did say frugal magic, but now I guess I get to say Jewish magic.
Holy shit.
I am glad they did not show the kids' arms and body parts getting destroyed in detail.
All right, everybody. If you wanna join the Discord, please hit the Discord link, and it's in the started streaming section underneath where it has the title, description, and the people watching, and it says started streaming so many minutes ago. Right underneath that is the Discord link. And just let me know. Let's see. I'll keep the. I'm gonna use the. See. Okay, we got Race is in the chat. So Jacob. I'm gonna go ahead and let you out, and we're gonna bring Race in. All right, buddy.
Oh, do y'all my rating?
Yeah. What's your rating?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
What's
Negative 0.1.
Negative 0.1. Excellent.
I agree.
I'm not there yet.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Thanks, Jacob. All right, hey Race, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey man, what's happening?
It's going pretty good. So we can say that Ed is the perfect Aryan Ubermensch who's wielding Kabbalah.
He's blonde.
Yes, he is.
He's blonde with that beautiful fucking mullet ponytail thing he's got.
And Al is his original soulbound golem.
Oh.
Oh, sad face.
Oh man, and that Winry chick, well, her name's supposed to be Wendy, man, and they spell it, you know, they kept spelling it Winry, but when they said her name, it was Wendy. I don't understand. It's 2018, and they're still getting the English part of this shit wrong sometimes when they're writing it out. That's just a personal thing with me. Okay.
Okay. So I did actually want to discuss like the god thing they had in the movie, the smoke demon man thing that took his arm and leg. Is there like any other lore behind that? Because it was not explained well at all in the movie.
All right, and you're talking about the being that he's like conversing with in the dream state.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Okay. That's what I was wondering too. Because man, this thing is so like, it's so loosey goosey.
Was he talking to Ed through a burning bush?
Yeah. Oh my.
You know,
you did mention smoke, so I mean,
well, you know, it's interesting though, but when, you know, Jacob like mentioned all that shit, it kind of puts all this thing in a brand new light, and kind of makes me want to watch it again. Am I sick? Is there something wrong with me, man? Because
once you've seen, you cannot unsee.
That's because it's like I'm all up into the, you know, Illuminati and all that shit. You know, all this classic conspiracy. You know, the groups of Bilderbergers and all that stuff, man.
The Bavarian Illuminati, that whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. The Rothschilds and shit. You know, and the one that doesn't make the least amount of sense to me is the Jewish one, because of the history with, you know, their history as, you know, being fucking just, you know, beat down every goddamn 5 years, you know.
It's because you know, we always rise back up. That's the problem.
God's chosen, man. You know, it's the price for being God's chosen. You know, that's what it's exactly. Supposedly that's what it's, you know, they say in the Old Testament. So it's like,
I'm not religious, just so everyone knows. I'm so.
So did you go through like the bar mitzvah and all that things?
No, not quite. My grandfather is Jewish, but my mother is not Jewish because my grandmother was not Jewish. Mm-hmm. But we're right. Actually like maternal. Genetically Ashkenazi Jew.
Gotcha, and that means from Europe.
Yeah,
you're right. Jewish people of Europe extraction. Mm-hmm. So, all right. So, getting back to our awesome story. All right, Race, give us your take on this whole deal, okay?
All right. Which part here?
Anything.
I think I did. Well, I actually have a question. Do you think that that either the movie or the show did the Jewish Alchemist state pretty good?
The Alchemist state.
Alchemist state.
Well, it never got there, though, did it?
No.
You know, because it's like at the beginning, check out the symbolism here. The very opening scene is a train, and the ending scene is a train.
Well, yeah, but also
think about that.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Yikes.
Dude, I'm just saying, man. It is what it is.
It is. It really is. Also, you know, like, usually when you have a movie where you go on a quest to do something, you try and complete that quest, and they neither brought back their mother nor got their brother's body back.
No,
so,
nothing.
I mean, they didn't really accomplish anything.
Zilch nada. And did they really even come in contact with an actual Philosopher's Stone?
Who knows?
See, that's the, you know, he's got the thing at the end of the movie in his hand, and it's like, well, okay, is that it or not? He should have been able to bring his brother back with it, right?
Well, didn't he say he could? Like, he saw his body or something in... I don't...
Is that supposed to be his brother's body that maybe that's partially smoke in the dream state?
I think so.
Maybe he's like maybe they were like twins that were split in the womb or some shit.
I don't know.
See, man, you know, they don't explain any of that shit.
Yeah, look, this is, I mean, if you read the book and watched the movie Gunslinger, this is worse than that comparison, even.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, it's like, there's just no explanation of anything. Just nothing. Why?
It's just a lot of random stuff going on.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, from an outside perspective of somebody who definitely did not watch all of the show or anything, I have no idea what exactly was going on in this because of the fact that they don't really explain anything. Like they don't really explain lust.
Oh shit!
It's cool. They don't really explain lust, envy, and gluttony until the very end, and when they do, it's just, you're immortal, you have a stone in you, and that's it. That's all it is.
Roll credits. And then that, you know, that was like about 7 minutes worth of the credit stuff with those goofy, like, pseudo black and white outtakes. And I was waiting for some kind of, like, you know, Marvel-esque kind of thing, and nothing ever happened.
Nope.
You know, it was like,
the ladies never showed up.
It's like, God damn, okay. It just, yeah, it kind of irked me. You know, at the end, I'm like, there's like no big payoff, you know, except for the payoff was actually the fight with the cycloptic zombie things, you know, with their beautiful translucent white skin and their bizarre, and then they've got the, you know, the marks from, you know, where, you know, they had obviously been, you know,
bred or grown or whatever.
Yeah, the thing in the back, and then of course the thing on the front made it look like that they had an autopsy or something.
No.
Wait.
In the exact words of the Netflix deaf version, they have a Y-shaped incision on their backs. Exactly what the audio says.
So many unanswered questions, you know, so much just wasted time in the dialogue. Holy shit, man.
I had another question too. So one thing that didn't really make, I mean, there's a lot of things that don't make a lot of sense in here, other than now the whole Jewish thing, but that's beside the point. Why is it that, you know, Lust, right? She kills the first guy that has the maybe possible Philosopher's Stone on him, right?
Right.
And she's got Ed in there with her, and Wendy in there, and she kills this guy. She doesn't take the stone, and she disappears, right?
Right.
My question isn't even like, why did she disappear? Because that doesn't make sense either. My question is, why later on in the movie, when they're fighting her, all that Ed had to do was bring up a little wall of stone, and he broke all her fingers, right?
Right.
How come he didn't just do that to begin with? Like, dude, you let so many people die.
Oh man. And you know, there was, yeah, that one scene. Hold on. See, I take notes like a retard anyway. But there was that Dr. Marok.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
Oh,
the old man. He was in Ichi the Killer. He was, and I can't remember which character he played, but I recognized his face and I looked him up because I said, I've seen this dude before. So he's like kind of, I consider that royalty in my book. So, yeah, his little cameo in there, at least gives it a little more class. Have you not seen Ichi the Killer, Brian?
I have not.
Shit! Oh, you've got to see Mike's work, man. Have you seen Audition?
Nope.
Oh. Okay, we got a problem here. It's a good one too, man. We need to talk about that later, probably and maybe off camera, because we could do a whole mini series just on Mike's work and the intensity of it, because he was like he was the Hitchcock of J horror, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I'm just a big fan of Mike. So, but yeah, Ichi the Killer is a fantastic film. Yeah, I'm not going to give it away. So okay. Oh Lordy. Let's see. The shotgun scene. With the cartoon. Shotgun with the little frayed barrel. At the end of it. That was just kind of cliche-ish.
Yes, very.
And I don't know, man. There's not a lot more to. I mean, God, Race, give us some input on your take on it, man. Are you familiar with any of the anime or?
I'm familiar with some of it. I haven't seen enough of it though.
Right.
And I actually haven't the Netflix thing yet. So based on that, I'm probably gonna have to bow out.
I got you.
I really would. Like, I don't watch it. It's not worth your time, man. Did you mean out of the call?
Oh, well, yeah, I'll probably have to bow out of the call. There might be other people waiting.
Well, all right, hold on here. Before you do that, next week we're going to be talking about a movie that went up last week on Netflix. It's called Titan, and it's got one of the guys from Avatar in it, and the chick that plays Missandei from Game of Thrones. It's sci-fi, and I'm not going to get into what it's basically about, but Brian and I had talked, and we were going to say that's the next thing we wanted to cover, and we're going to cover that. And then the week after that, we're going to cover this movie that is a collaboration work between Daryl Hannah and Neil Young, and it looks like a hot mess. What?
What was the first one called? Titan?
Yeah, it's called Titan. That's all. Yeah, or is it The Titan? It may be. It may be The Titan. I'm not.
That's the only thing I find here. Starring Sam Worthington, Taylor Schilling.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
It. Yes,
yeah.
that's
I'll
absolutely.
put it in my list.
Yeah. Excuse me, and I'm trying to find the connection to the other one. Did I send that to you in the mail? Yeah. That's it.
Twitter, yeah. It's on Twitter.
Yeah, it's called Paradox. And yeah, it's Neil Young and Daryl Hannah, and it's a dreamy fantasy about futuristic outlaws and the hunt for old technology. And at some point, there's levitating children, and a lot of acid.
I'm going to make a prediction on this one. It's just Neil Young getting really high and getting lost in the woods most of the time.
But I can't remember who sent me that link, but whoever it is, God bless you. And
really, God bless you.
Thank you so much, because when I saw it, I went, holy shit, we've got to have this for dinner, because this is. Yeah, go ahead. Right.
Oh, I put them. I was gonna say I put them both into my watch list on Netflix.
Perfect.
Oh, cool. So Race, you know what, man? We got a couple minutes here. You want to talk about yourself a little bit, and you're kind of new. I see your name popping up and stuff. I don't know. You may have been here for like 5 years and something. But I'm just now like seeing you up on my radar and stuff, and
Right.
And don't take it personally. I don't know what it means, but it means that you're getting around with some of the same people I've been hanging out with. So tell me a little bit about yourself, and
Well,
what you're doing here.
I got started being a sponsor for Reading Ren's channel about a year and a half, 2 years ago, something
Oh
like that.
yeah, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was back when I was heavily promoting my Teespring store, Race Riot Apparel,
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, and then I kind of shut that down, but I kept popping back up on Ren's channel as a sort of
Yeah.
semi-regular guest. And now, but I've been branching out into other places and
You
been
know,
doing my own thing.
were you on, man? Were you on that stream that I did a couple weeks back with Batman? Yeah, I don't know, because it was like you looked so familiar, and I couldn't remember if we had streamed together or what.
Well, yeah, we streamed. We were on a Thor Midnight's thing. We were talking about horror movies,
That's-
particularly psychedelic horror.
That's it, dude. Okay, yeah, man, that was great. That was great.
Oh yeah, that was a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, this, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to gather, people so we can rotate people in and out and kind of talk about this stuff that, because Netflix, Brian and I were talking, and that seems to be kind of like something like a hub that everybody, has some type of
something that most people
contact.
have.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. And kind of using that as the hub, to draw from for the subject matter. And then,
Yeah.
if we can't find anything, there's always something old and good on there that we can
Yeah,
find.
and there's always also Amazon Prime, because there's that's also something everyone virtually has. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know anyone that doesn't purchase anything off Amazon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I don't do, if I do Prime, I usually do it for the Man of the High Castle
Oh yeah.
run. So, and that's coming up, I believe in May. I just saw the new. Have you seen the new ad for it? It's a small vignette with John Smith, and they're doing experiments on this African American woman, and it's intense.
I haven't seen it. But,
yeah, it's
sounds
so
intense.
so it's like the new Tuskegee experiments.
What I think what they're doing is that they're figuring out that there's a multiverse, and they're trying to figure out how to transverse the multiverse so they can spread the right, throughout all realities.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, that's some domination there.
Well, it fits with the whole concept if you think about it. They were.
Yeah, that's true.
Today it's Germany, tomorrow the Welt, next the universe, and then the other ones. Fuck it.
All the other universes.
We're going to take it all. Fuck
Some
it.
lofty goals there.
No shit, man.
Oh man.
Man. So let's see where we're at in the slideshow. It's kind of like I need to get a couple of monitors. I need another monitor or two because I've got one monitor and it's small.
Oh yeah, you got to get a second one. I wouldn't be able to do this without a second one. I'm only talking. I didn't even set up the slideshow.
Oh,
He's
bummer.
got one of those old school portable TVs with like the fucking lunchbox screen.
Exactly, man. Exactly. It's that old Commodore 64.
4:3 aspect ratio.
Exactly, man. It's the old TV AR, NTSC. Let's see. All right, now. Let's see. What Death Arukin is saying, no, that's not how lust fingers work. They literally melt her into nothing 200 times and then break her stones to kill her. Oh, okay. So he's talking about lust. The what I call the endless, but the homunculi is.
I'm assuming he's talking about the TV series though, because
Yeah, that sounds like a reference to the anime.
yeah,
Okay.
because all I saw was a little wall of stone come up and break her somehow indestructible talon things that she'd been using the entirety of the movie, and nobody thought to do that.
Yeah, no shit.
Like, it's like, oh, you can really just do that, and you can just stop the whole thing. That we could have had this. This movie could have been over an hour ago.
No doubt.
Like, wow.
I'm trying to see. Someone had said earlier that they didn't think we were streaming anymore, and I think we are.
No, we are. I'm watching it.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right. I'm slowly freaking out in the background here.
No,
but
don't worry.
But you know, I had a lot of fun prepping for this show, just because sometimes these episodes of when we've got something that's so really horrible. That the only way to justify the time that we took to look at to watch it is to just make it's to rip the fuck out of it. And that's kind of fun in itself. So sometimes these pieces of shit, there's some magic, a little magic gift embedded within.
It's our floating turd raft.
Nice.
The floating turd raft of love.
Hang on for dear life, because at least you'll have a laugh later.
That's great, man.
It's not often that I am completely speechless at how shitty a movie is. So, I do have to agree with Jacob. It gets a negative rate. Like I can't even put it on a 1 to 10 scale. It's so bad that the fact that they have AAA graphics in it and that it clearly had a somewhat large budget makes it worse. It makes it worse. It's that bad.
Yeah, I can tell by looking at these stills and then seeing the trailer that it did have a very sleek, overproduced look to it, and that doesn't usually end well.
Well, right. It looks like it was made by a Hollywood production company. It looks Hollywoodish, whereas like Attack on Titan, that has more of like a Korean kind of feel to it, in my opinion. And then the original the Death Note live action movies that had a Japanese feel to it for sure. But go ahead.
The other thing that just and this is to no end that just frustrates me about it is I have seen other Japanese animes, right? I'm pretty sure Grave of the Fireflies is a Japanese anime.
Mm-hmm.
And even in that one where horrible tragedy is happening around them, they are not so horribly angsty that you just feel like you want to punch every character in the face. And that's what you get in this movie. They're just like, oh, my emotions, what'll happen? Oh, no. And it's like, oh, God, I can't watch this anymore. Yeah, pretty much. My head's gone.
Exactly.
Fine red mist all over the living room.
Man. And a question for the crowd: do you like it? Do you like seeing this at the later time? The drive home, hearing us talk about this, or did you like it better at the earlier time? We're less likely to clash with the Kumite when we do it this way. So that was
don't bother trying to compete for attention with those guys.
Oh yeah.
Well, right, and I think that the whole point is that I think the audience is starting to find us slowly but surely, because I'm seeing many repetitions of Philip Daniel, Death Harukin, of course, Ragnar Ulfbert, the great Viking hero of mine, and has Goatman been by here yet? Goatman might.
I think he was here earlier.
Okay, it's not a show unless Goatman says hey. And then hopefully we'll welcome, of course, Jacob, and we'll welcome Racing to the fold now. If you'll have us, yes, always. This is a big fan, and our arms are wide open. Darmok, his arms open. Nobody got that. Holy shit! I'm in trouble.
Nope.
I think that's the Creed reference, right? Was that a Creed reference?
Is the Star Trek Next Generation?
Oh, I was thinking the Creed song with arms wide open.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Huh.
Yeah, I did a thing with Aiden Paladin at Failure and Rob Rob Optic K Rob. We did a thing on Star Trek. Yeah, they're all good people, man. It was a good show. Yeah, it was a good show. So that was fun. But yeah, so there's I'm a Trekkie too. I'm one of them. But God, man, you just you're telling me that there's also a market, or not a market, but there's an audience for Japanese films, because there's a lot out there, man, from the 90s on up that are fucking awesome films.
I mean, I hate to say it, but if we're going down the Japanese route, then, or well, anime route, I should say, we totally have to hit up Berserk.
What is Berserk? Is that a series?
It's a three-part anime.
Oh
yeah.
Fuck, I'm in it. I'll do it.
It was released on Netflix about, I want to say 4 months ago, maybe 5 months ago.
All right.
But it's a remake of a TV show, and it's pretty good.
All right.
You're talking about the new remade Berserk. I thought you were talking about old school 80s Berserk.
No.
Well, and then there's like a 60s Berserk, which is, I can't remember who was in that, but it was, that scared the hell out of me when I was a kid, man. And they would play it at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon when you get home from school. These terrifying movies. So, you know what, Brian, and Race, just kind of like somebody to bounce something off of, since we were able to cover this movie in a rather quick period of time, do you think that if we do movies, we might be able to knock out 2 a week? Brian,
Probably.
What do you think, man?
I think we could.
You know, and then if we're dealing with series, we can, dedicate a whole 2-hour thing to the series. I think we could probably do 2 movies in an hour and a half. To 2 hours,
provided they're not horribly long movies.
Or actually really, really good, and we're into it and we want to talk about it, forever. But we can always stretch the show out, I guess. There's always that idea too. This is a work in progress, is what I'm trying to tell the audience. Yeah. So do you want to maybe try to do both of those movies next week? That the Titan and Paradox.
I would be down with that. I think because the second one, Paradox, I don't know that we can make an entire episode out of that.
I think I think it's going to be a quick one either way, either whether we love it or not. You know what I'm saying? It'll be an easy one to rip through.
Once again,
I've already seen Titan, and I'm willing to watch that again too. I'm not going to tell you what I think of it. And I'm not. Look, I watched this movie that we've been talking about. I've watched it almost 3 times now, and it would have been 3 times had I not fallen asleep the other night. So,
well, I feel bad for you.
Well, I want to make sure that what my opinion is solid. Because sometimes I'll see something and I won't like it the first time I see it, but then the second time I start picking up on themes or shit, that I didn't notice the first time. And then, by the third time I'm seeing, I'm going, God damn, I actually kind of like this part and I kind of like this part. Whereas, if I'd have just gone with the first initial, viewing, I would have been like, fuck this shit. This is a piece of shit. So,
I don't know how many times I would have to watch this for it to be
well,
good. I don't think there's
no. That's my whole point is I can thoroughly assert with some certainty, with total certainty, that this movie is horrible and it's not worth wasting your time on. And this, all right, Netflix is just something to y'all, man. Is to just because I understand what Netflix is trying to do. They're trying to open up to an international audience, and they're trying to like do, you know, these kind of these like, you know, these mixed, where we've got, you know, partial crews, you know, partial Japanese, partial American, you know, partial German or something like that. And so I get that, but you're going to have to put, you know, people are demanding that you put in a good English dub, all right, of every foreign movie that you're going to offer us, and B, give us, you know, don't insult our intelligence by just taking, you know, something that, you know, every weeaboo on the planet has seen, and then, you know, and then just giving us a hand job. You know,
with some sandpaper,
exactly, with really good effects, you know, some kind of you know, tease like that, and then come back with, you know, with no substance at the, you know, there's no resolution at the end. You know, it insulted me, and I can, you know, I can say with all honesty in my heart, I don't recommend this movie at all to anybody. And if even if I didn't like you, I wouldn't recommend it to you. So
this, yeah, no, this goes in the bottom barrel bin, along with House of the Dead, Birth, and Wicker Man.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Like Never Again pile.
Yeah, just you pretend like that Nicolas Cage Wicker Man doesn't exist. Cut your toe off.
The only good part about that movie was watching Nicolas Cage get hobbled.
Whatever. That didn't even make me happy. I dug the you know, the Christopher Lee masterpiece is so good, and you know, that's something that I really want to stress to the young generation. Man, give older movies a shot. And look at it, try to get past the effects, you know, because nothing's going to be able to beat what we've got nowadays. But there are some great movies out there that are worth your time and effort. DOA from the 40s is a great example, you know, just whipping out of my brain.
I have that on DVD somewhere in my house.
Yeah, see, that's a great movie that if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. The remake in the 80s was okay. And actually, it's enjoyable, but nothing beats the original.
I think that Jason Statham movie Crank basically ripped off DOA. It was almost the exact same thing.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was. It was, you know, it was. But you know what? It was a clever reimagining of it. So I'll give it, you know, a couple of points just on the clever, you know, aspect of, you know, having to keep his, you know, his fuck. Now I'm not going to remember. Adrenaline up, you know.
Yeah. I'm not shitting on Crank. That's a fucking great movie.
It's a fun movie. It's very fun. But yeah, you're right. So there's all these really good movies out, you know, from the past, you know, that can be talked about. So, but what we're going to do right for now is we're staying with the sci-fi and horror genre on Netflix. And so we'll look at maybe doing, we got a situation like next week, we'll go ahead and bump through, you know, hit through Titan and through Paradox, and hopefully, you know, we'll have a good show to talk about. So I'm not going to let y'all know what I think about it, what I've seen so far. But it's not. I'll say this: it's worth, you know, checking out. And that's all I'm going to say. No more hints.
Yeah.
Ragnar Ulfbert recommends that the kids watch the first two Hellraiser movies.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love those movies.
Oh yeah, especially Hellbound. You know, that's more closely to the short story. Then, but yeah, it's closer to the first one, to the original story than the first one. But the first one was a really a wonderful surprise from, you know, Clive Barker. It kind of introduced me to Clive Barker as a writer, and you know, I got into all his stuff. You know, and I even like, you know, Midnight Meat Train and what was that other one? Meat Man, something with meat in it. Rawhead Rex. That's it. That's the one I'm thinking of. So I wasn't big on the Nightbreed stuff. I thought that was kind of like, the Moonhead guy and shit. It's like,
yeah.
okay.
I like the Meat Train. Didn't they made a movie out of that, right?
Yeah, and that former soccer player played the main character. Played the original Juggernaut in the second X-Men movie, I think, or maybe the third. The original, the original X-Men movies, the 90s shit.
Yeah, that was X3, The Last Stand. That's where Juggernaut showed up.
Yeah, and
I can't. Where he said, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that actor, he was a big soccer star in Great Britain, and he blew out his knee, but he was known as being a really tough bastard, and he looks tough, and he plays the main character, the main baddie in the Midnight Meat Train, and that's a fun movie. It's definitely not a frontal lobe feast. You know what I'm saying? But it's good popcorn. It's a great popcorn horror film. So, yeah.
So,
Well,
I don't know. I was reading the chat and Lotus quoted back at me, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch."
Hey Lotus, how you doing? I got my Discord posted if you want to pop in and talk about this.
This helmet keeps my face pretty.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man.
That was a really They really fucked up with that character, because the real Juggernaut was a far more formidable foe, with his ability to control force and mass and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I heard in the comics that when Thor threw his hammer at Juggernaut, it basically just stopped and pushed backward like a magnet against Juggernaut's face.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Exactly.
That's the Juggernaut's ability to once he gets up to speed, man, there's nothing can stop him. So yeah, but that's the Chris Claremont version. Claremont was a genius. And speaking of Chris Claremont, Season 2 of Legion started Tuesday night. So if you're a fan, if you're a fan of that, man, Season 1 was nearly flawless in my opinion. So in Season 2, I hope they just don't get into this cyclic trope of doing the same thing over and over again, because I was kind of hoping that the Shadow King would be gone for at least a season. But they've brought him back. But then, I'm not going to judge on, based on 1 hour out of 10. So, but I'm picky, man. I got shit to do. I got people to be and places to do and shit. Now, I can't waste my time watching a lot of shit. But for this show, I will watch 2 hours of shit 3 times just to make sure that it's definitely not worth seeing.
Yeah. I mean,
for the crowd.
At least you gave it a fair shot.
did Lotus? Did she ever answer?
Would you ask her again?
I said if she wanted to, she could hop in with us.
Yeah, she's going back to bed. It's I don't know what time it is in the Upside Down right now. So, it's probably like 4 a.m. or something.
Well, if she's into, there she is. I have a comic book set about the Shadow King. I would like to read that, Lotus Wolf. Who wrote it? She's in the, man, Lotus, my Discord connection's right there if you want to hop in. Come on. William, if you want to talk about this stuff. If y'all want to talk about this stuff, come on in. We'll talk. All right, Lotus. Well, just remember next time, if you want to come in and talk, come on in. Because that's the kind of idea is about it. It's not just me and Brian. It's supposed to be for the people to come in and hang out with us and talk. And I know I say that a lot, but I'm trying to get the message across, people. Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. So we're running right at a quarter after. Do you want to say we'll do this for another 15 minutes and then we'll shill and kill?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Am I streaming from my shower? I don't know. Does my microphone sound bad?
No, it smells mini fresh though.
Oh, good.
Irish Spring there.
Yeah. I was in the shower the other day and I was reminded of my lack of hair because I had my old bottle of Head and Shoulders I haven't thrown away yet.
Mm.
It was a sad day.
Are you losing it upstairs? Are you losing a little?
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah.
Losing it. It just happened. It just that was like 3 months ago. It just went gone.
I just lost. I started losing my hair when I was 18, and lost it in the back and the front slowly. You know, they say if you lose it in the front, you're a thinker, but if you lose it in the back, you're sexy, and if you lose it in the front and back, you think you're sexy.
Ah, I see. Fair enough.
I know it's pretty shitty, pretty cheesy joke, but hey, that's I'm not a dad, and I tell dad jokes, so that should tell you all you need to know about me. But yeah, Race, you got anything you want to shill or talk about for the next couple of minutes?
Yeah, I got 2 streaming channels because my main channel got showed. I got Race Riot Gaming. It's a new channel I'm doing. I've been playing Yoltrund on that channel. It's a really nifty little 2D game that's early access on Steam.
Cool. Yeah.
It's basically Dante's Inferno, but if it had the look of old school Legend of Zelda. Because it got that 2D look to it.
Okay.
Like a retro.
What is that?
Cool.
What is that? 32 bit or 16 bit? Brian? I thought Brian would know that. Race? Do you know Race?
No, I do not. I didn't check on that. It's got the game though. It has a pretty interesting lore behind it. So far, there hasn't really been any fighting. It's mostly just been walking around and talking to people, much like Dante's Inferno. So there's not really any like external conflict as well. But it's interesting so far. But I might only do one more stream with that game. And the other streaming channel I got is the Bad Prawn Comedy Hour, where me and my buddies I just put a bunch of different porn clips together, minus the nudity and sex, of course, and me and my buddies just roasted.
That's fun. That's always fun to do, you know. That's cool, man. That's a great idea for a channel.
So, question: are you often on eFucked?
No, that's the first time I've actually heard of that website.
Oh my! Oh, the horrors I could show you. We'll talk after the show.
Yeah, that sounds like based on that. It sounds like it would be a good place to mine for bizarre porn.
Oh yes, it is. We're talking like 8 years of it.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I was going to tell Lotus Wolf that the movies, usually when we do this, the slideshow in the back are takes or slides from the actual film that we're talking about. So this is, you're looking at shots from Full Metal Alchemy, and Race, I wanted to, when you mentioned that you got bopped by the Popo, the YouTube Popo.
Yeah. So I was doing a Bad Prawn Comedy Hour stream on my main channel, the Race Jacob channel, and there was just a little bit of tits in there.
Oh.
Image slideshow, but that stream was age restricted, so it shouldn't have mattered. But some YouTuber decided that they wanted to flag it because we can't be showing tits to adults, and I got a community strike.
What a
yeah.
Well, there's I put out a video because I was able to get, it was one of these episodes that I did with Brian, got a community guideline strike for a repetitive spamming type thing. and I was able to get it overturned in like less than 18 hours. It was to be honest, it was probably less than that. But I put a video together, and I've just put the link in there. So if anybody, I would be a proactive and see this thing just in case. So the next time, you know, if people do get popped, you'll know not to do anything when you see that pink page.
Yeah, there's a lot of helpful information in there.
So
yeah, I saw that video. It's very informative.
All right, well, good, because that's the idea. I wanted to help people because everything. I went through this whole deal with a friend of mine with Occam's razor when he got bopped, and he went through the process with me, and I took, you know, was taking mental notes and saw what they had done, you know, and they've geared this stuff to where you freak out and you mash these buttons and try to get this stuff taken care of as fast as possible. And if you just take time and just breathe, man, and read and do your homework, you can craft a good argument that can help you get your thing overturned. And then you go to the trusted flagger and you back it up with that form that he's got. You know, because there's another form that the trusted flagger has that a lot of people don't even know about. And I don't know if that even had a bigger effect. I don't know which one had the most weight, or if they had any weight at all. And they just said, "Fuck, he was streaming," you know, and it was an AI thing. So, but hopefully, you know.
I'm assuming most of it is pulled down by AI, essentially.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that they could police every single, you know,
no
YouTuber. I mean, they have what, 400 hours being uploaded every hour,
right?
So,
but yeah, and you know me, I'm paranoid as fuck. So it's like I had a list of people that I knew that I was certain had flagged me and shit. So
don't get me wrong, man, I'm sure there's one or two people out there that are just flag crazy. He said something I don't like. Better flag him. You know?
Triggered.
Yeah.
You got something you want to shell out there, my brother?
Why, yes. I just recently released a trekking video. Now, this is primarily I don't trek on my channel, but I just decided one day that I would, because YOLO. The other thing is I'm going to be having a birthday live stream on April 9th.
Oh, wow.
At 2 p.m. PST. So that should be early enough for people on the East Coast to make it as well. And then later that night I'm going to go get wasted and have a great time. So, you know.
I'm going to let somebody else cook my food for once.
Exactly. Anyway, that's really all I've got going on. My purple drink video is going to be out pretty soon here. It's finally finished fermenting.
When you said on the 9th at 2 p.m., is that like Eastern or?
PST, Pacific Standard.
All right, killer. That's perfect for me. So I've got something planned at 2 p.m. my time, but it'll be 4 then. So I'll definitely come harass your ass.
Oh, sweet.
For that birthday. So what are you turning, 23?
No. I'm old. I'm turning 31. Yeah.
You're right.
This year I lost all my hair and turned 31. I'm over the hill.
Oh.
I got another 29 years left.
Well, just rock the bulb, man. Rock the cue ball, man.
Oh, of course.
That's what I do.
I got lucky. I don't have one of those ugly lopsided heads.
Yeah, maybe one afternoon I'll show you what I really look like.
God.
You'll be traumatized forever. So,
fair enough.
Exactly. I'd break the internet if I showed my real face.
He's a bald Ron Perlman.
I wish I was half as good looking as Ron Perlman, man.
I don't know. Ron Perlman sort of looks like a like, why is the bottom half of your face?
He looks like he's Mike Enoch's bastard father.
Yes. and I hate to say it, but Mike Enoch looks like an Australopithecine.
He does, doesn't he, man?
He totally does.
See, Ron Perlman is the human pit bull.
That's true. Oh, I gotta silence this up. I'm sorry, guys. Just throw my phone across the room. That way we can't hear it.
That's right. Well, all right, I'm gonna show my shit, and then we're going to call it a day, calling the show. Let's see. Friday night, I got the cream stream. Had last minute change of guests, so the guest spot is we're gonna have to get creative. I'll put it that way. But we'll figure something out. And then on Saturday, of course, drinks with friends with Sir Adamantine. Oh, I have another video, that a regular video I'll be dropping, where I'm yanking the dicks of these Indian credit card marketers that are trying to lower my interest rate to 0, but I got to give them my my credit card number. And I had a lot of fun with those guys, man. And I pissed the boss off. I had him cussing at me, and then he hung up on me eventually. But yeah, that's the deal is try to keep them on as long as you can, and just wind them up, man, until they get so pissed they hang up on you.
Yeah,
that's the artsy fartsy thing. Oh yeah, speaking of artsy fartsy, I got the painting thing that looks like it'll be, I'd say, around the 15th when we drop the first episode of that. So,
and that's who's on that?
It'll be me and Sir Adamantine. I'm probably going to start looking at like Degas and Renoir and their influences on like album cover art in the 70s. What?
So your art thing, do you mind if like the audience submits their own art?
No, this is going to be a totally legit thing. We're just going to look at like art history type artists, and kind of approach it like that. Not necessarily from like an academic standpoint, but talk about like what makes the art work. What are they trying to achieve here? Why aren't they painting it like a photograph if they could do it like that? Things like that. That whole and then the juxtaposition with modern. Now I might be into like looking. There's a couple of modern artists that I do want to cover, like Michael Husser and Ryden, Mark Ryden. Michael Husser and Mark Ryden, and there's somebody that's slipping my mind. But you should look up Michael Husser's shit, man. He's great. And he uses a lot of old techniques, a lot of old glazing techniques and stuff that's really difficult to master and get down. He's really a good painter, though. He's excellent. Almost photographic perfection, but the imagery is fucking creepy as shit. It's really good stuff. Yes. Yeah. Very creepy. Very cool. And I'm looking at that we are directly at the bottom of the hour. So with all shilled and drilled and chilled, I guess what we're going to do is that we're going to say this has been another episode of Big Fat Brian and Irate Prostate going through hot takes, shit on Netflix. Spicy. So, and then want to thank Jacob Navo and Race Jacobson for coming on in. I appreciate it, guys. And with that, everybody say bye-bye.
Bye.
And we'll see you later.
See ya.